Hey, welcome back. This is Molly, and I wanted to do a video for you discussing business in your natal astrology chart, as well as a few other things to be aware of in terms of how your business can grow, develop, build, and flourish with some transiting planets and their energies. So this can be beneficial if you are self-employed, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're doing things your own way on your own terms. It can also just be good to know for any occupation you have, any job you have, and specifically what your natal chart energy signature is around business. So in your chart, there are 3 houses that are the most important in regards to business. 2nd house, 6th house, 10th house. 2, 6, 10. 2nd house. This is essentially related to the money you make, what you understand that you're worth. This can be good to know in terms of when you're understanding how you show up and what you expect to make or receive for your work. This is about your own foundation in terms of self-worth, self-value, and finances. So that 2nd house, the energies of the 2nd house relate to the money you make, what you believe you're worth, the money you take in. Then the 6th house. The 6th house are about your daily skills. This can be what you have fine-tuned, what you've developed, what you've been learning, the skills you have to work with on a daily basis. The 6th house is about our daily routines, our daily habits, our skill set. This can also relate to an apprenticeship energy, what you're developing and learning more about, also specific skill sets that you have that are natural for you. So that 6th house energy relates to what you do every day that fits your energy. This is going to look different, right? It looks different for all of us, but understanding the 6th house is about, again, your daily habits, like how you move through the office or what you do at your desk that just works for you. So that 6th house is important to know. Again, it's also about your skill set, what you've developed, what you're continually doing on a daily basis. Now, before I get to the 10th house, the 2nd house and the 6th house are energies that are below the horizon in your chart, and those are your internal energies, meaning people don't see this part of you. 2nd house, they might not see your self-worth energies. 6th house, they might not know what you're good at, what you're working on, how you move about your day. So the 2nd house and the 6th house are interesting because it's your own energy, how you know yourself. You know your needs. You know how your energy works every day. So this is good to understand, because then as we travel up to that 10th house, which is also the midheaven, that's what people see. That's how you can be identified in a role, what you're good at, what you're known for, your job title, what people observe or witness, because that 10th house, especially the midheaven, people look up to it or they're seeing it. It's visible. 2nd house, 6th house, not visible. So the 10th house is essentially what you bring out into the world, what you're offering, demonstrating, sharing, how you're viewed, how you're recognized, what you bring into an organization, the roles you're known for. But then that 2nd house pertains to more privacy around what you're believing your worth is. Like if you're feeling worthy of the work you're doing, of the money you're making. And then that 6th house, again, people don't see that. They don't see all the skills. Like they don't see everything that you know or you've accumulated. They don't know everything that you do in a day or everything you do at your desk. But that is the 6th house, which is how you go about your daily work routines. So 2nd, 6th, and 10th houses are strong in understanding your innate professional energies, your business or your work energies. The 6th house also can be, if you have a strong 6th house, it's how you're serving something bigger than you. And so the 10th house can be the organization that you're working for, and then the 6th house is how you're showing up to do certain work for that organization. So understandably, this is going to be different for each of us, but I hope this helps pinpoint some things that you are really gifted with in understanding about your own energy and how your energy shows up in the workplace or in terms of work that's satisfying. You know, work that is really like, yes, this works with my natural energy. And you might notice some things about these houses that all relate, or maybe they're really different. For example, if your second house, sixth house, and 10th house have a lot of mutable signs, then you would like change, variety, doing things differently, having something new to work on or to solve or possibilities to explore. Like you don't want the same routine. You want things to be a little bit different. You want variety. You want even room to maybe explore. So you could look at these energies between these three houses and really start to fine tune more of your own energy and your own natural expression in a work environment. So then once you understand more of that, the other thing I wanted to share with you is how there are always so many transits going on in our charts, right? But the ones that can really help you understand what is building, developing, and growing through work can really relate to the transiting energies of both Jupiter and Saturn. So Jupiter makes things easier, brings in opportunities, brings in solutions. Here, have this, here, try this. There's doors that open with Jupiter. Things can be easier. Things can just grow and expand, right? It can show you more of what you're good at, what you're working with. And specifically that transiting Jupiter is going to show you the opportunities, the resources, how your business is ready to develop. Saturn, on the other hand, is about the work you apply, the energy you invest, the time it takes to build something, to put in the work and effort to get it to the right place. The Saturn energy is always where we have to put our own energy, our own time, our own effort into something that we want to create, something solid, tangible, real. Saturn governs the real world. It is the timekeeper. And it is about the energy you invest is what will pay off, is what you will accomplish, and where you will have the rewards eventually show up as well as the recognition. So in your chart, transiting Jupiter, transiting Saturn can show you more of how your business is growing. This gets complicated, and I'm trying to keep it simple, but it's basically how these transiting energies are going to relate to what you're doing and growing. So it can certainly be through transits in the second house, sixth house, 10th house. It can also be the transiting energies to your own natal planets. There's a lot here. It's like there isn't just one way that we build something, right? Or we grow it, or a business happens and comes together. There's unlimited ways. But I like to highlight Jupiter and Saturn, especially for entrepreneurs or those of you doing something on your own, because it's going to show you where the work is required, Saturn, and the benefits and rewards and things that are coming through that support you in a more easier way, Jupiter. Now, this is also where there's some interesting timing at play. So for example, if you're moving through a hard Saturn transit, where maybe Saturn is squaring your sun, or transiting Saturn is squaring your midheaven, or squaring something, that can feel like a yellow light or a red light, right? Like you're like figuring it out. It's a turning point. Saturn squares are like, you got to make a choice. You're looking at some things, weighing some pros and cons. You're done with something. You got to make a choice or a commitment to the next thing. So Saturn brings it to our attention. Saturn brings in the work we need to accomplish, what we need to put into place, what's missing, what you haven't taken care of, what you haven't done. So Saturn really brings our focus to particular energies. So what you're looking at here is how is the Saturn energy, as it relates to your business, showing you what you need to work on. Also, it's the timing involved with Saturn, where Saturn, the transiting Saturn, can show you it's not time for something just yet, but it's coming up. Maybe it's coming up when there's a Saturn trine. Maybe it's coming up when there's a Saturn conjunction. Maybe there's something coming through that's going to show you more of those Saturn rewards. So Saturn shows you the timing. But this is where it can be painful. When especially you're like really ready to go and you want something to take off and you want it to go, and then Saturn comes through with a square or something that you're like, oh, I got to make some shifts here. I've got to change this up, or I've got to try something different. And then it will have legs. Because Saturn wants you to succeed, but it's not an easy way. It's not easy. Now, Jupiter transits show you what you have a lot of, right? And this is what you can do with it, where you can go with it, what you've learned. The Saturn transits help you expand and grow. So when the Saturn transits are moving through, especially through a conjunction or a trine, things can just open up. And it's like, finally, there's a green light. Yes, there's something happening. Oh, good. This is showing up. There's doorways here that are finally opening. So that Jupiter energy helps with what is working with you to make it easier. So these can be two transiting energies to look at in your chart and basically look at it through that lens of how it works with your business, your professional goals, and what you're doing. Now, this is where you'd also want to get some perhaps guidance or advice on timing. Because again, not only does Saturn rule timing, but Jupiter will show you when the opportunities are going to come through and when to be ready for them. I remember a number of years ago, when I was doing readings and I was connecting with this woman about her business. And she was exhausted. She was worn out. She had taken something as far as it could go. And she was just at this place of, I have this other idea, this other thing I want to start, but I don't know if I should do it. Should I do with it? Should I go with it? Should I make it a reality? And everything in her chart was screaming yes, like yes, yes, yes. Like, your train is at the station, pack a bag and get on it, because the time is now. And in her reading, it was like such a clear yes that I was like, can you get the website done in a month? Can you launch in 6 weeks or less? Because this is it. Like, this is a beautiful time for you. She had beautiful support from Jupiter to grow and develop this next. And then she had Saturn working beautifully with multiple energies in her chart, specifically in her 10th house and 6th house, that it was like, this is a go. So she did that, and she was able to get the website going, and she figured out everything that needed to happen, and it was kind of a mad dash. And then she launched it, and it was beautiful. It's still going to this day. It's still happening. Like, this new business that she wasn't quite sure about, the astrology said, yes, it's go time, and off she went. Now, of course, that's what we want, right? That's what we look for. We're like, yes, please make it my time. But more often than not, there can be these energies of timing involved that are out of your control. And that can help you depersonalize it, know that, you can't force the river, but you can work with what's in front of you. Because especially as you're growing and developing your business, whatever that might be, there's multiple rungs on the ladder. There's multiple things we focus on, that we need to get done, we need to get finished, and it all takes time, and it all can pay off if you stay the course. Saturn wants you to stay the course. So know that this is part of the adventure, and when you're an entrepreneur or you're self-employed, you feel it more. You certainly feel it when it's your business and it's your name on the website, or it's you, which is different than when you're working for a company or corporation. The energy feels different. But when it's you, you're the healer, you're the reader, you're the person on the front lines. It is something that you want to work with. You want to know these cycles, because then you're going to see how they work with you and how they work for you. So this is just another way to understand the energy of your chart, how to understand that there's things that are just out of your control, and that if you have felt like you're only getting yellow lights or red lights, The universe is bringing your attention to something that you're meant to see, you're meant to notice, you're maybe meant to switch gears or do differently. Sometimes it means you're meant to dig in and like really commit, really go for it, really say yes. So of course I can't give any one piece of advice because it's different for everyone, but know that this is a beautiful way that your astrology chart shows you what energies are showing up for you now and how to work with them. So I hope this has given you some good insights into these energies, some things to be aware of, and another way to look at your natal astrology chart, especially through the 2nd, 6th, and 10th houses. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back here for another video really soon. And in the meantime, please listen to my weekly podcasts and be sure and check out my other videos here on these YouTube playlists. I'll see you back here soon.